let us proceed to a last panel discussion focusing on risk and compliance in crypto. And for that, we would like to welcome at CWC Mr. Ankit Mehta. It's a pleasure to have you with us for this special edition of CWC, Mr. Mehta. Sir is an astute professional with over 14 years of extensive experience in statutory audit, internal audit, operational audit, so on and so forth. He also has expertise in the area of risk control, self assessment, and cybersecurity governance. Apart from that, he holds more than 200 premium domains related to blockchain, crypto, and other emerging technologies. So, who else but him to talk about risk and compliance in crypto? So, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Ankit Mehta and also our distinguished panel members for this last discussion today. Over to you, Mr. Mehta.
Thank you, Basna. Thank you very much, and I'm really happy to have you as the host. And I also like to welcome our other panelists. So we have Akan Sitra from Chainalysis. Welcome, Akan. So Akan Sitra is an alumnus of IIT Madras and MBA from ISB. He has worked with Intelligence Bureau, Government of India as an assistant central intelligence officer in the cyber cells. He's an expert in blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and crypto crime. He has conducted numerous workshops for law enforcement agencies on how to detect, investigate, and prevent crypto crimes. So, welcome, Akhand.
Thank you, Ankit.
Hi, we have Puneet as well, Puneet Agarwal from Coinex. Welcome, Puneet. Puneet has been involved in blockchain for more than 5 years now, and he is currently building Coinex, a platform to automate crypto taxations, backed by industry veterans and leaders. Puneet also advises blockchain projects in the space of NFT, DeFi, creator economy, and so on and so forth. He led the Crypto Relief Fund, which I believe we all should be aware of it. It was a $500 million cryptocurrency fund that was started by none other than Sandeep Nilwal from Polygon. So, welcome, Puneet.
Thanks a lot, Ankit. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Great. So, I would like to start our session. I know this is the last session for today, so we'll not bore our users. So, my first question is to Akand. That's a very basic and important question. Like, why is compliance important in crypto?
Good question, Ankit. It's a new industry, right? The entire world is trying to understand what crypto is, and of course, regulators also would want to know that nothing illicit happens on this domain. Whatever happens is, illicit. All illegal transactions happening. So, from a compliance perspective, you need to ensure that you the regulations are being followed and the laws are being followed at whatever jurisdiction you're situated at. From that perspective, to ensure that the entire community is safe and secure and away from illicit transactions, compliance is very much important for this budding industry at least.
Great. Good to know that, Akand. So, my next question would be to Puneet. Uh, since you run a company who's into crypto taxation, right? So, like, enlighten our users based on the crypto events that you see are taxable in India. And will I only be paying taxes on withdrawing funds to my bank account, or is that applicable on other transactions as well?
Sure. Great question there, Ankit. So this is usually a common myth that people have, where people assume that they only have to pay taxes once they convert the cryptos into fiat and they sorry bring it to their bank account. But the taxation, specifically, let's say with India as a country, the taxation framework here is on each transfer. So anyone holding any ether and converting that to bitcoins or bitcoins to matic or any other cryptocurrency, each of this event is a taxable event. Not necessarily they have to convert that into fiat or withdraw it to their bank accounts. Similarly, any airdrops that people get, any rewards, any staking income, any DeFi transactions, any lending, borrowing, any and every transfer that is happening from one wallet to another wallet, provided that second wallet is not yours, is a taxable event.
Great. So just to add on to that, my next question would be to Akhand. Akhand, how the blockchain analytics can be used in making sure that the users are compliant to all such requirements?
Yeah, Ankit. So I come from an investigation background, right? From a law enforcement background, and crypto in its initial days was used for a lot of illicit activities. Darknet, mein jaake people used to buy drugs, weapons, etc. using Bitcoin, some kind of sanctions, some kind of scams used to happen, terrorist financing. Since it's a cross-border, it's a crypto, and people can fund terrorist organizations as well. So we need to ensure that these kind of crypto which has been used in illegal activities are identified, one, and they should not be let out into the fiat world. People do a lot of, say, money laundering on crypto, and one, you need to ensure that this money does not really convert into fiat currency, say rupees or dollars and whatnot. So from a blockchain analytics point of view, what analytics does is, the blockchain is, as you know, it's an open source, it's a ledger, it's an open decentralized ledger, so everybody has access to all the transactions, all the addresses, you can see it in public. So you need to identify which of these transactions are illegal, illicit, coming from the darknet markets and the scams and whatnot, and ensure that these crypto does not enter the safe ecosystem, like the exchanges, like the banks, like the financial institutions. So what we do at Chainalysis is blockchain analytics. We identify the transactions, the addresses which we don't want to get into, and we save the crypto exchanges from getting exposed to these kind of illicit transactions. So analytics can be used from a compliance perspective to ensure that you know exactly what crypto you're dealing with, you know exactly what transactions you're dealing with, and to know what is the exposure of these addresses and transactions and whatnot. So that is from a risk management perspective.
Got it. But is there a way the normal retail users can get benefit out of it, or what should they look for it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So again, from a law enforcement perspective, people do want to see the entire flow of funds which comes from, say, a scam, perhaps. So when a normal retail investor by mistake gets that crypto, say I have 1,000 rupees with me, I convert into, say, Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin that I've received was used in an illicit transaction, say 4 or 5 hops ago. So law enforcement, once they do the investigations, they once they try to solve and crack the cases, they eventually will come to you because you are a recipient of black money or scam money or a hacked money. So from a retail investor perspective, you need to ensure that they are using those centralized exchanges which have done proper KYC, proper KYT, where they have compliance teams in place, and they're using the right tools and whatnot. And if they're using decentralized exchanges as well, they need to ensure that the liquidity pools, etc., whatnot, are don't the crypto doesn't come from a illicit perspective. So as a retail investor, I need to ensure that I am dealing with the right kind of crypto, and that would save me from further cases. Maybe the enforcement directorate or the FBI or the CBI, they could come knocking me, say that the crypto that you're currently using has come from terrorist financing, so you're a suspect in a case that we are investigating. We don't want to get into that.
So that's a good detailed answer, Akhand. That was really insightful. So, Puneet, my next question would be to you is that so users think that they might not have to pay taxes when they are transacting on any decentralized exchanges or using their private wallets, uh, and where the KYC is not being performed. How do you like want to opine on this?
Sure. So again, as per the law, this event, like any transactions again in KYC environment or non-KYC environment, is both taxable. People do tend to usually take in risk there, considering or assuming the fact that governments would not be able to trace their non-KYC wallets. But using platforms like Chain Analysis, or what Akan said, that with the blockchain analytics, where any address, since blockchain is entirely transparent, open, and you can see the flow of the entire transactions. All any agency would have to do is very simple: track an address and see if it has any linkage to any of the KYC platforms. And wherever it does, the entire flow then makes sense, and anyone would be able to track you, who you are, and what funds have you withdrawn it to centralized exchanges, or you might not directly be exposed to it, but you might have sent to someone else who then withdraw it on any centralized KYC exchange. So today this mechanism is already available, and this mechanism is like a direct way to identify any culprit or any person in the part of the DeFi ecosystem. And governments would get to understand the information of like who that person or who that address or who that wallet belongs to, thereby knowing the taxability of that user. And so long but short, the idea is, like in as per the law, any transaction in the crypto space, that be on global exchanges, that be on decentralized exchanges, that be on wallets, that be on centralized exchanges, any of this is a taxable event.
Got it, got it. And like, what do you think that the or what kind of information will the income tax officials look for when they are investigating any like user where they would have transacted on multiple exchanges, maybe say DeFi platforms as well? Is that the bank account or something else they would look for?
Sure. Again, very interesting question there, Ankit. So, like recently there have been multiple developments. Income tax departments and income tax officers are also getting educated day to day about how to deal with these cases. And, they are also trying to understand more and more about how cryptos work, and, how the transactions work, what are the different types of transactions there. So, earlier, like it was pretty simple, that from the bank account statements and stuff. But now, like bank account statements is not the way, or is not something that departments expect, because like as I said, you can transfer it from crypto to crypto without even withdrawing the funds to your bank account, still making a lot of money, or losses. So you can have, let's say, Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin gets converted to Ethereum, USDT, and it can stay in stables USDT. You can stake that out, generate rental incomes, or like staking income. And a person can use those USDT against credit cards, put in as collaterals, and use it for many purposes. So governments have got matured it in this way, and now there was actually a recent High Court, precedence on this. Day before
Hmm.
yesterday, the precedence came out in Rajasthan High Court, where there was a case between an income tax officer and a taxpayer in India. And the case was similar. He submitted his bank account details, and the income tax officer was not accepting it, asking for further details on his crypto transactions. And when this case went into the Rajasthan High Court, Ankit, the precedence that came out is the user has to submit transaction wise details. What time he bought a crypto, what he sold, what was the profit that he made on it. And that's where platforms like us do make sense, where you have to, it becomes manually impossible for any crypto investor to calculate what time he bought, what was the price of the asset then, what time he sold, what was the price of the asset then, in a FIFO mechanism. That becomes an entire complex process, and hence like platforms like us can help in the supporting the investors remain compliant and accurately calculating their taxes.
So yeah, it's just not the bank statement, but a lot many other things. All those transactions, what you've transacted on different platforms, right?
Right. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So, can what's your view on like how are regulators looking at this new industry?
Yeah, so again, it's a new industry, and a lot of research happens at the regulators as well. The FATF, the Financial Action Task Force, has brought in a lot of guidelines, and some of the advanced economies, the US, the UKFCA, the FinCEN, the OFAC, they have been trying to bring the OFAC sanctions list to ensure that the bad people on the crypto addresses. And the Singapore Monetary Authority of Singapore is trying to bring the Payment Service Act, which has really good SOPs on how to build this. They're trying to become the next crypto hub. The industry in Dubai is really vibrant. So, from a regulator's perspective, they are not against crypto as an industry. They get revenue, more jobs are created, more people are employed, and whatnot. So, it's a good economy. It's just that, again, nothing illegal should happen. From their perspective, crypto is like, okay, capital controls issue will be there. Rupee will just go out of the country, or money laundering, scams, again, all these kind of issues come. If
Yeah.
the illicit activity reduces in the industry, which is reducing rapidly because it's transparent, people know what exactly is happening on the blockchain, then the industry itself will grow much more rapidly. And the regulators, once they bring the right regulations, the right compliance framework, the right SOPs for all this, it makes a lot of sense. The industry itself will grow much faster. So yeah.
So, yeah, recently our honorable minister has also mentioned, right? They would be working on the framework and the SOPs. So, what's your view on that?
So yes, the SOPs are there. A lot of other countries, lot of financial institutions. As I told, the FATF has brought in a beautiful book, the MICA of the European Union. They have the SOPs are there. India would want to observe what the other countries are doing. Then they create SOPs for their own country, because our country would we need to have localized laws, localized regulations, and whatnot. So from that perspective, yeah, it's a right step. We thought of banning it, it didn't happen. We thought of taxing it, which is okay. It's kind of like giving some kind of legitimacy, which is good. Now bringing a proper SOP rules and then reducing the tax perhaps will make the industry, not just crypto industry, but the entire Web 3.0 ecosystem, the blockchain industry, the metaverse industry, all that will become much larger. India has the right force, the talent, the right kind of English speaking folks, the tech folks, and the internet penetration is really good. So we are at a really good position to take ownership of this domain. Just that we are just waiting for the right laws, right regulations to be in place. So the step up with the finance minister is a step in the right direction. Yeah.
Great, great. Good to know that, Akand. So, Puneet, I have been seeing that people are now transacting on international exchanges, considering that there are no TDS or tax implications there, and the TDS requirements what are being imposed looks like it's only on Indian exchanges. Do you think that's correct, or is that should be applicable on all the exchanges or wherever you transact?
Sure, Ankit. Again, a very important issue that you have highlighted in here. So, like people transacting on Indian exchanges, usually we have seen this as a pattern that most of the Indian exchanges themselves deduct in TDS for the users and deposit it against, their PAN numbers. So, but this does not usually happen in any international exchanges or any DEX environment, where you would not know who you're pairing up your transaction with. He might be someone based out of Africa, based out of US, and the exchange itself is not in India. So they're operating out of multiple regulations. For example, any global exchange, can be Binance, can be Coinbase, FTX, Huobi, any of the global exchanges. So there, it becomes the responsibility of the Indian crypto investor to deposit at 1% TDS on his transaction to the income tax department. And that's where on the monthly, so the regular norms on the TDS still apply in here, where you have to accumulate all your monthly gains or your monthly transactions, and the final amount that you see as the monthly TDS accumulated amount is what you have to deposit it before the 7th of next month. And again, like, TDS calculation here is not simple enough as per the government guidelines. So the, like, let's say you are buying, or you're selling 1000 Matic, right? So
Hmm.
1% TDS of that becomes 10 Matic, which you immediately have to convert into either INR or Ethereum, Bitcoin, USDC, and USDT. Out of these five pairs, you have to immediately convert it then and there. You cannot keep on holding that Matic until the end of the month and say that, like, by the time when I sold Matic, the price fall or the price rise, and hence this is the amount that I'm depositing. So this becomes quite a bit complex as it sounds. It's not a very simple and easy mechanism for a user to do so. But yeah, underlying statement being, it is the ownership lies on the end user who is investing into crypto to convert that into any of these tables, not any of these tables, but just USDC or USDT, and then accumulate that, and towards the end of the day he needs to again convert those USDC USDT into INR and then accumulate that entire INR over the period of 30 days, calendar month 1st to 30th, and then before the 7th of next month they need to deposit this. So yeah, like this is the entire process, and it usually becomes difficult for people to know what is their total TDS amount that they have to convert and deposit, and like place the orders at, and hence again like that's something that we are working on.
Good, good. So, in nutshell, the users can't escape by transacting on international exchanges, right? So the onus lies on the users to deposit on their own if the exchanges are not deducting the TDS.
Right, absolutely.
Good, good. So, Akhand, we talked about a pretty good use case from the Rajasthan High Court, right? So, how about the other law enforcement agencies looking at this new industry? And you might have come across some situations where, like, people, or rather, the police might have been investigating few cases. So, how do you help them in terms of uncovering all those crypto frauds?
Of course. So yeah, Chainalysis as a company, helps a lot of law enforcement agencies across the world to perform crypto crime investigations and whatnot. To be honest, law enforcement officials at first get very scared about crypto because it's all new, it's all tech, the alphanumeric numbers are very scary. But once they understand it, they love crypto. They love solving crypto cases because every single transaction is online. It's all edged on the blockchain. It's there. For example, in the real world, if say I take 100 rupees from Puneet Agarwal's pocket and keep it with me, that transaction nobody will know because if it's a scam or whatever, the law enforcement will not know that this transaction has ever happened. But on the crypto, on the blockchain, if I take zero point 0.1 Bitcoin from his wallet to mine, that is available for the rest of the for eternity. That concept blows their minds. They think, for example, I have an SBI account. They wouldn't know what's my SBI account, how much balance I have, who is what transaction I've done, unless SBI gives them gives them the history, right? But with the blockchain, if they know my wallet address, they'll know exactly what balance I have, what kind of transactions I have done, where I've got the money from, where I'm sending the money to, and whatnot. So from an investigation perspective, the data is all there. It becomes much more open, transparent, to see the flow of funds, to see from A to B to C to D pesa where exactly it's going, and to visualize those transactions. They use tools like Chainalysis where you're able to visualize the entire flow of funds to see where exactly the money is coming from, where they're cashing out from. Maybe they've gone to a gambling website, they've done some gambling, they've got some zero point 0.1 Bitcoin, and they do 3 4 hops, and then they go to an exchange, and from the exchange they might cash out. That entire flow of funds is available for them to see, and they just call up
Absolutely.
exchanges like say CoinSwitch or CoinX or CoinDCX or WazirX, and the exchanges will have additional personal information, the KYC details. They'll know the Aadhaar card, the passport, the bank account that is linked with that address, which bank, and from there the fiat flows. So the entire investigation is solved very easily because the entire blockchain is transparent. Within 10 to 15 minutes, they'll be able to visualize. They'll call up the compliance guys at these exchanges. They get the transaction data. They'll know exactly who did what kind of illegal activity at what date and time. And as Puneet was saying, the timestamp is there. The names are there. The KYC details are there. The Aadhaar card is there. It's very easy to catch hold of criminals, and a lot of cases are coming up, and they are solving a lot of cases as well. So thereby we are making the entire ecosystem much more safer, cleaner, and much more secure for folks like us to make the system much better. So, yeah.
Yeah, really insightful. So, nothing can be escaped since everything is visible and transparent. And whenever any inquiry or intel come, right, so the law enforcement agencies can reach out to the exchanges and can inquire about those wallets.
Absolutely.
Great. So I just want to know, in quick 30 seconds, your final remarks, both Puneet and Akan. I know we are now right on time. So yeah, final remarks in 30 seconds. Puneet.
Sure. So, like from me, it's taxes again. Don't be scared from taxes or compliance. This is something that is, as Akant said, good for the industry. If we want the enterprises to join in into the crypto ecosystem, if we want majority of the other investors who are still skeptical about the industry and were not sure about whether to invest, is it legal, will the government ban it, this is one of the positive sentiments that has come in order to regulate cryptocurrency, bring in some of the guidelines and bring in some of the understanding in here. And yes, like the while the numbers might not be currently supporting in the investors, but we are all very positive that with time this will get rational. So that's something from me.
Great. Thank you, Akand. 30
Absolutely.
seconds.
So I request people not to just look at crypto from an investment or profit making perspective, but the use cases are amazing. Bitcoin, it's a financial network, cross border transactions across the entire world, the entire ledger with you. Ethereum, you can create smart contracts, you can make decentralized applications, DeFi protocols, and liquidity pools and whatnot. You can build an entire metaverse on top of it. So the use cases are so many, and to be honest, we are very very lucky to be at this particular point of time in this era where we are not 10 years behind where the blockchain was not there, not 10 years after where the adoption is completed there. We're at the right time where we are building products, where we are building solutions and increasing the adoption of this beautiful technology. And I request all our viewers to understand the tech behind it, understand what blockchain actually stands for, the philosophy behind it, and I would request them to join this revolution and this new emerging tech, as they say, and because this is the future and it's already here. So thank you so much for having me, folks.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Akand, and thank you, Puneet. And thanks to all our viewers for their patience hearing. And thank you. Upasna, over to you. Sorry, Upasna, you're on mute. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Maybe you want to change your microphone. You're not audible.
Like that. Am I audible now?
Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
great, great. So thank you, Mr. Ankit Mehta, and of course, Mr. Akan Sitra and Mr. Puneet Agarwal. I think another fantastic panel with insightful conversations. The legalities of it couldn't have gone better without all the three of you on the panel. Thank you to our moderator and of course the panelists who have given us their precious time for this event. Thanks indeed once again.